Alrighty, everybody, welcome to this month's anime paint night. First one for fall. This month we've got Jotaro Kujo from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So you're going to have this line art. You're also going to have a reference sheet. I don't have it here right here, but you'll also have a watercolor kit if you asked for it. And make sure you get your cup of water, some paper towels. Without further ado, let's get started. Alright, this first part's going to be pretty quick. We are going to be doing the skin tone as per usual. As you can see, there's only really two spots where you can see his skin tone. His hand, and the little bit of face that we actually have. I leaned in very... that's a pun in this situation. I leaned in very heavy for the stance this time for the character. There was a fighting game in the 90s based off of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and so like one of the most iconic frames is him just hitting the lean when he's sending out Star Platinum, his stand. And I was just like, wow, I gotta reference this for sure with this line art. But that's why we only really see that much skin. That said, let's move on to our next portion. Alrighty, for this next portion, this is going to be the longest portion for sure. It's going to be the coat and the pants and the hat. Basically, you're just going to be going for the purple. Well, I mean, you don't have to, of course. I mean, JoJo has had many outfits. Jotaro has had many outfits. So you don't necessarily have to follow this color scheme. But I went with the purple and the blue together, like the darker blue and such. And I just kind of like kept that pattern all the way through with the jacket and the coat. The jacket, the coat, the pants, jacket and coat are the same thing, the hat, what have you. I really love combining blues and purples together. It's such a soothing color. And I know for a fact that Jotaro usually has a combination between like purples, but like dark blue and almost like black outfits sometimes. Depending on what chapter of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure you're watching or reading. Again, I'm taking heavy inspiration from the fighting game. Let me see what is the name of the fighting game? I'm so curious. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna look this up real quick. Let's see. JoJo's fighting game 90s arcade. Let's see. Okay. Okay, there we go. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Heritage for the Future. Yes, indeed. 2D sprites. Sprites are basically pixel art versions of characters that you can just move around the stage, kind of like Street Fighter. Yeah, definitely Street Fighter is like the best example I can bring up from that era. The King of Fighters as well. Mortal Kombat's a little different because they took like actual like photographs of people and then just put them in a sprite engine, so that's a little different. But these are like hand drawn such. I mean, in this era of like fighting games, they really leaned heavy on like it being really colorful. So his color scheme is really distinct here. Instead of it being like those darker tones, it's genuinely like it's lavender, almost like light purple, pink in some areas and such. It's really beautiful. I was like, yeah, I think this is where I'm gonna lean in for my inspiration for this coloring and such. But aside from that, as you can see, the pose is immaculate, right? Like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is very famous for like the poses, the leans, but also just the voguing. Like genuinely speaking, it's gorgeous. Like almost all characters in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure knows how to like they know how to pose and stuff. JoJo being or Jotaro being no exception to that rule at all. That said, the fighting game does a really good job at conveying those poses very well. That era of fighting games was very big not only on the color, but also anatomy. They really made the characters feel alive in a way that we don't necessarily get in these day and age for video games and fighting games as a whole. It almost kind of feels like when you compare old Disney in its 2D animation. So like things like Snow White, things like Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast, Jungle Book, compared to like Disney and Pixar era things like Toy Story, The Incredibles, Encanto, and stuff like that. Not to say that those aren't beautiful, but there was a different kind of life breathed in from the 2D animation. These fighting games right here, they leaned so heavily on that anatomy that all these poses were like so distinct. Like it didn't hold for a long time, but you remembered it. And this is one of those poses right there when he sends out his stand or like his like inner self or what have you, Star Platinum, and really cool. Other characters have it as well. I might do another character from JoJo's for another anime paint night, but yeah. But by that time, we should be done with our next step. So let's move on to our next portion. Alrighty, now on to the next portion, the smaller details. So we have the shirt, which is magenta or pink, and we only see one triangle of it. But the shoes, though, the shoes definitely are like pink, magenta, purplish. So we're just definitely gonna go for the magenta for sure. I mean, Jotaro is styling, bro. Like the purple and the pink is beautiful. And again, the series is known for its very use of vibrant colors for certain. Some of these colors you might not necessarily think that they are supposed to be together, but they do a very good job in conveying it very nicely. And remember, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is most certainly a Japanese anime, right? But when I tell you that like the creators of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure loves the United States and like is like fascinated by American culture to the point where like there are characters, attacks, places that actually reference like songs and music from the United States. It's actually a really cool watch. I think there's even a whole chapter kind of centered around like the Old West and stuff like that, and like referencing like actual presidents that existed. So, highly recommend diving in. Have I dived in deeply? No, I have not. But it's such a cultural phenomenon. It's hard not to hear about it, and my brother-in-law likes it a lot. So, shout out to him. He's most certainly introduced me to a lot of JoJo stuff. But let's move on to our last portion. This is a pretty quick one this time. All right. So for the last portion, now it's time to do just some extra details if you want to. So I'm going to color the little sparkles around Jotaro's name, that little beautiful star right by his pointer finger and such. And I'm going to color the letters. Going to make sure that yellow is right there in the middle. But while we do that, you know, again, you can do whatever you like at any flourish. You can even draw Star Platinum if you want to. Man, like if I had more time, you know, I might have wanted to like draw Star Platinum as well, but like I just think the pose is enough. No, it's okay. Anyway, look up Ronald McDonald Mugen, and you'll see this pose again if you want to. It's great. It is definitely a meme from a bygone age, but it's fine. Again, Ronald McDonald Mugen, M-U-G-E-N, and you'll see the JoJo pose again. Anyway, all that said, please, if you want to, watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It's on Crunchyroll and such, and you can also read it in manga form. We'll see you next month for next Anime Paint Night, but thank you always so much for your support, and thanks for just making art with me. I'll see you later. Bye-bye!